Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today I'm going to be talking about Dragon Ball GT. For those who don't know, just a few months ago I watched GT for the first time, and I've come to my own conclusion on many things. A while after episode 131 of Dragon Ball Super aired, a lot of people have been more critical of Super, and talking about why GT is actually underrated. And one of those supposedly underrated characters is Vegeta. However, I have a much different opinion. So today I'll be talking about why GT Vegeta isn't as good as people make him out to be. But before we start, if you enjoy discussions like this, don't be scared to like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, be sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. So before we get into the actual discussion, I've seen a lot of people say that GT Vegeta is better than Super Vegeta. And if you believe that, okay. This video isn't a comparison of the two, so being better than Super Vegeta doesn't make him a good character. So before people make that argument, I just really want to say that it doesn't matter to this discussion. If you guys want to hear my opinion on Super Vegeta, then I will be glad to give it to you in another video. But with that out of the way, let's start the discussion. So, it's probably best for me to start off by saying that GT Vegeta does have some good moments. These include his beginning scenes with his family, showcasing that he is a family man now, and him in the Shadow Dragon saga being willing to sacrifice himself so that the kids can survive. These are really great, but that's just about it in terms of what I like. So let's just go through the other scenes in order. So the first scene is him fighting Baby Gohan, which is good until Goten gets involved. For some reason, Super Saiyan Vegeta is able to beat up Super Saiyan Baby Gohan, but base Baby Goten is enough to tip the scales in their favor. This already sounds bad, but going into the scaling, it's even worse. You see, base Gohan without the Baby Amp was able to fight Super Saiyan Baby Goten, and was only pushed to transform when Goten began threatening the area they were fighting in. So then, Gohan goes Super Saiyan on top of his base form, which is already equal to Baby Goten as Super Saiyan. And then, that Gohan goes Super Saiyan, making him far above Baby Goten. So Baby Goten's base form being able to help so much, to the point of making Vegeta lose when he was beating Baby Gohan before, is really stupid. I guess the only answer is that Vegeta was just so shocked that Baby could possess both of them at once that he just got caught off guard, but even that's like really bad. Anyway, Vegeta then gets taken over by Baby for the rest of the arc, and then is happy after Goku wins. This will come into play later in the video, but just remember it for now. After the Baby arc, Vegeta has an episode where he wants to fight Goku so bad that he busts into the World Tournament. He then states that he wants to defeat Goku, but the fight doesn't actually take place, and once again, we'll probably bring this up in a bit. The Super 17 arc then happens where he hates being compared to Goku, and says that he's enough to protect Earth, only to be beaten and saved by Goku. His next important scene is one in which he laments about his past, wondering when such a big gap opened between himself and Goku. They also make sure to pack the entire episode with flashbacks, so you remember how good Z was and forget you were watching GT. But that aside, by the end of the episode he realizes that he needs to stop trying to surpass Goku and obtain Super Saiyan 4 for himself. He then unlocks the form, and his first statement is that he knows he and Goku will still lose to Omega, and so he suggests fusion. And that just about sums up Vegeta and GT. So if you can't already tell what my problems are, I'll let you know now. My first issue is that I hate how much Vegeta focuses on Goku. And my second issue is that he doesn't accomplish anything, whether he's trying to be better than Goku or not. For the sake of this discussion, let's go ahead and start with the second one. Now, I have a challenge for you. Can you name one fight Vegeta wins in GT off the top of your head? I'll give you some time. No? Well, that's because in all of his fights, he either loses, gets jumped, or his opponent gets amped. In his fight against Baby Gohan, Baby Goten attacks him, leading to him getting taken over by Baby. He tries to fight Goku, but Goku gets hungry, so he doesn't. That fight doesn't even take place. He fights against 17 equally, only for him to become Super 17 and beat him up, so that, the opponent's getting amped. He then tries to fight Omega with Goku, and loses. The most Vegeta accomplishes in GT is under Baby's control, because at least then, he beats up Goku and Oob a few times. And Gogeta didn't beat Omega, so he doesn't count as an accomplishment either. Even when Vegeta leaves his obsession with Goku behind, he still amounts to little more than an extra punching bag for the villain, or in Baby's case, the tool for his power. And that's not to mention the 2 times he's saved by Goku in both the Super 17 arc and the Shadow Dragon saga. So with my second problem now covered, let's go into the first one. He spends way too much time obsessing over Goku. For a character who supposedly got over his Goku phase in the Buu arc, he sure has a lot of scenes that involve him worshipping or striving to be stronger than Goku. He tries to fight him, he says that he wants to defeat him, he gets angry when being compared to him, he spends a whole episode thinking about all his times where Goku beat him, and then even when he gets the same power-up as him, he still says they can't win and relies on fusion with Goku. Now some people think that this plays into his character arc, although not all people agree, and you'll see that later. A video made by Saojin that I watched trying to understand the opposing side addresses the Prince's character arc in GT. Go watch that after this video, as it's a pretty good analysis for his arc. You see, the arc is supposed to be that Vegeta lives his best life, having left his obsession with Goku in the past. But when the fighting kicks up again, he falls back into his old ways and begins wanting to fight and surpass Goku. Upon the flashback episode, he realizes that he has to try and gain power for himself and the Earth, and not strive to be better than Goku. However, just because Vegeta has an arc doesn't necessarily make it well written. Once again, I have 2 main issues. Let's start with the first one this time. This arc is more or less just the Buu saga over again. And I get that that's the point. He goes back to his old habits and must overcome them once again. But personally, I think repeating the arc that Vegeta had just gone through is kinda sad, honestly. If we had more time for this Vegeta to develop as a family man building up to this, I would probably like it more. But repeating what had just happened in the last saga really just makes it feel cheap to me. Because this is almost beat for beat the Buu saga, but worse. Vegeta's vibing with his family, having left his rivalry behind, only for the fighting to happen again and him wanting to surpass Goku, but in the end he learns not to do that. That describes Vegeta's character in both the Buu saga and GT. If they're going to make him have to go back to his old ways and try to find a way out of that, there should at least be something new to add, because all this is telling me is the same thing that it told me in the last saga. But I think you guys get the point now, so let's go ahead and move on to my second problem. This problem is that the development of Vegeta falling back into his old ways is non-existent. Vegeta fights once against Baby Gohan and Goten and then immediately wants to beat and surpass Goku again. And remember the thing I said earlier about Vegeta being happy that Goku beat Baby? If that fight is what made him go back to his old ways, then why did he seem so happy that Goku won? Hey guys, Future Lytro here, and one thing I realized while editing this video is that Vegeta actually doesn't smile upon Goku beating Baby. He actually smiles when Goku saves him from, being corrupted by Baby. So, if anyone brings that up in the comments, all that does is just, even further prove what I'm trying to say here. Because in one scenario, he's smiling about Goku saving, the universe. And in the other scenario, he's smiling about Goku saving him. So that's probably worse for Vegeta's pride. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, bye. And there's no other Vegeta fight between the time when he fights Baby Gohan and Goten and when he tries to fight Goku. So that's really the only thing that could spark the change. But if the change happens off-screen, doesn't really have any development or statements, and even seems a bit contradictory when faced with Vegeta being happy about Goku's victory, then can we really call it good development? But aside from that, when looking for more counter-evidence against me, I decided to get into arguments with people on Twitter about GT Vegeta's description from Xenoverse 2. And yeah, I know, arguments on Twitter, I learned the hard way, they're not good. But none of them could really take my points down on why Vegeta wanted to surpass and defeat Goku. And just as I was about to start recording, I saw a very recent video by Saiyan Scholar talking about why GT Vegeta was good, and it seemed really biased to me. The main point that made me feel this way was that he said people were using out of context or misinterpreted statements from Vegeta. And I do agree to an extent that some things may be a little bit out of context. However, when he starts defending what Vegeta says, it really comes off badly. For instance, when Vegeta says he's going to defeat Goku, Saiyan Scholar argues that he wasn't really serious when he said that. It seems more like a fan service moment to show that Vegeta wants to fight Goku, but doesn't actually strive to surpass him. And sure, maybe, I'll get back to this later, but let's just keep that in mind for now. He then brings up when Vegeta gets taunted about Goku during the Super 17 fight. He starts talking about how he's number one and all that stuff, And Saiyan Scholar's defense for this is that he's just in the heat of the moment. He doesn't really mean that. And at that point, I've just gotta wonder, why is there always some extra defense against these statements to rule them out? Like every time Vegeta hints at wanting to be stronger than or to defeat Goku, it's always, well, that's out of context. He didn't really mean it. Do you really think he was serious? And that just seems like a very weak argument at that point. Like, you do know Vegeta didn't have to say these things, right? He didn't have to verbatim say, today is the day I defeat you. He could have said anything. Today is the day we fight once again. Today I prove I'm still strong. Today I test my own power. Today we fight regardless of the winner. Today we get a McChicken. Like, he specifically chose to say that he was going to win. And just because he laughs when Goku's stomach growls doesn't disregard him clearly wanting to fight and stating that he would win. All it means is that the fight wasn't as important as he thought it was. And when he said that he was number one, that might have just been a heat of the moment thing, you know? Except for the fact that he hasn't been in a moment like this in over a decade and a half, excluding his fight with Gohan and Goten, which he doesn't really say anything like this in. Hi guys, Future Lecture here again, and I know someone's going to point out that the reason Vegeta didn't say this against Gohan and Goten is because he doesn't see them as equals since they're, you know, just kids to him or whatever. But he actually finds out that they've been taken over by Baby, and he finds out that Baby is a Sufurian, and Saiyans see themselves as vastly above Sufurians. And he still doesn't say, I'm number one. So yeah, that just goes to show my point even more. So once again, it really just seems like a weak defense to not let this character seem as bad as a certain other version, given that this video was about why GT Vegeta is better than Super Vegeta. But yeah, don't take this as hate towards Saiyan Scholar either. I just think that he should come up with better reasons so that not everything ends up in, do you really think, kind of questions. Like, if there's multiple of these statements, and for every single one we just brush them off for, like, some extra reason, then it really does call into question whether or not this character is as good as you say. Hi guys, yeah, this is the last time. But anyway, I wanted to elaborate on what I just said here. So basically, if this character keeps on acting inconsistently, like where he's like, I'm number one, but his whole arc is, you know, that he's not, and then we have all these extra questions, like, even if this is true and he's just being inconsistent, then he's just an inconsistent character, which just makes him not as good. So yeah, I just wanted to elaborate. But yeah, before watching GT, I knew people held Vegeta in high regard, and even after watching it, I really tried to find things to prove my instinct wrong, but I just couldn't. Which is really sad because I wanted to be wrong. I wanted to like this Vegeta as much as everyone else does. In fact, I love the premise of this Vegeta. Being more focused on his family and the Earth is the best place for his character to go after Buu. But really, I just couldn't see the magic here. And that's why, in my opinion, GT Vegeta sucks. But if you disagree, that's fine. I'm glad you could enjoy something that I disliked so much, and hopefully you at least understood my points in this video. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see more discussions and character arc analysis on the channel, be sure to let me know what I should talk about next. But as always, tell me if you liked this video, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.